Kick off your boots, get cozy, and join the chat. This is Boot Buddies.
Welcome back to Boot Buddies. And this is our Netflix and Cheer series part
3.
3.
So today, we're watching the next episode. I think we're in training camp.
I think we're in training camp. You're right.
All right, well, let's just jump into it. Okay?
You got it. This angle.
I don't know.
This angle of them in bed is hilarious.
Okay, so you know how last time we talked about how you roomed with Reese when we went to Cancun?
Mm-hmm.
I roomed with Anna Kate.
Mm-hmm.
And actually when I first met Caroline, and we went out for lunch, she told me that I kind of remind her of her sister.
Oh, really?
And after meeting Anna Kate and us being put into being roommates in Cancun,
Mm-hmm.
I realized that we are actually quite similar.
Wait, you were across the hall from me,
I
no?
was right
yes,
across,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
And I love Anna Kate's personality, but you know what's kind of funny? When my rookie year training camp, they also commented on my personality.
I think all three of us kind of have not like the bubbly cheerleader.
No.
We don't have that, you know?
No.
We're
all more reserved. We don't really speak unless really spoken to.
Oh, see, I think I speak too much. But I agree that for you too.
But like if we're usually like in a big group of people, we're listening.
I agree. Okay, yes.
That's what I mean.
agree. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we will come out and interact with people, but we're more of like the observers and the listeners. And
especially in practice, we're both very like
very
ears
focused.
open. Yeah, focused.
And she is
The
very
same.
similar, and I think it's so interesting that if we're not bubbly, at least in my experience, they assumed that my personality meant that I'm like stuck up or like not pleasant or all these things when I'm just more quiet.
Yeah, yeah.
And I do have a very focused face when I am focusing.
Yeah.
Just because I'm so focused.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean anything by it. It's just like who I am. I've always had it.
I think they're also used to everyone coming in and trying to be a people pleaser, and
Yes.
to them specifically. So I think when you come in just in your own lane and trying to do your personal best,
Very true.
it's different. It's different
Yes.
for them, you know. And I think I was made fun of because my voice is too deep, and I was like, my voice isn't even really that deep. I just went high pitched there because I guess I was self-conscious. But I don't feel like my voice is that deep.
No, I don't think so. I always thought my voice was deep, but I feel like in English I speak higher than I do in Russian.
Yes. Yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
hi! Especially
Yes.
in Texas.
Yes.
Wait,
Yes.
funny story, going on a tangent, apologize. When my cousin, my mom's sister's son was coming to visit us in the United States for the first time, he landed and he commented on the stewardesses.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "What is wrong with the stewardesses?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Why do they come up in your face and go, 'Hi, how are you? How are you doing? Hello, are you happy? Are you having a good time?'" And
He's probably like,
and he literally was like, oh my God. In my culture, people don't smile. Like, I look back and take a look at all my family photos.
Mhm.
No one's smiling. Not a single, like, they're all like this. Not
No.
even teeth. Or, like, if they do smile, they're like this. There's no, like, happy joy on their face. And so I feel like my personality is kind of a reflection of also my culture.
Yeah.
And I think it's so funny that they will comment on that when I think Anna Kate is wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because I feel like my life has been surrounded by Europeans somehow. It's kind of odd, but I noticed that too. Like, you'll speak English in a much higher pitch than like your native tone is like very deep. And as for like people being like that scares me too. Especially when people talk this close to your face. I'm like,
and
please.
there's so much energy coming
Yeah,
at
and
you,
I'm like,
I don't know what to do.
And literally,
Because
I'm
if I
freaking
can't-
out. I'm freaking
If
out.
I can't reciprocate the energy, I get really anxious because I don't want to offend the person. But then I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Or my favorite is when like they come close and you step back and they come close, and I'm like, wait, that's not what I wanted. I needed space.
This wasn't like follow the
Leader, it was you stay there. I'm backing up so I can prepare to reciprocate. Because right now, too much is happening.
It's just so funny, but like hearing her say that, I do remember that, and it's sad. I feel like, we're not all of us have peppy personalities, but it doesn't mean that we're not excited or like not interested to be there or not,
But I think everyone stereotypes us into a certain box and a certain mold. So I think it's good to highlight the different personalities that are on the
Remember
team.
the personality test that we had to take for DCC?
No, I don't remember that. Mostly because I don't remember that.
Were you an entertainer?
I wasn't interested, so was everybody else in the room. I think Carol's story is so... I think a lot of former NFL cheerleaders related to her story because being that the Olympics are going on right now, like it's kind of in a similar thing, obviously not on the same scale, but you've achieved like your dream at such a young age. So then when you're done with it, it's like, what's next? Because this was like, I trained in dance all my life for this one thing. Now that I've done it,
but also the injuries.
That's what I'm saying. I've done it. It's been great, but look at what I've gotten from it.
Look, she gave not just her time, but her body to this organization.
Yeah. And then think what you have to live with.
Surgeries.
Yeah. Hip, right?
Is it one hip or two hips?
I think
just
one
hip.
hip. Your Makeovers go.
I'm thinking. Our makeovers weren't as intense.
I didn't even go, so it definitely wasn't.
I mean, they didn't do our makeup. There wasn't really a lot of time. We were very pressed, like one after the other.
What did they do to your hair?
They just put in tape and extensions.
Wait, you went back and forth between curly and straight for a little bit, though,
I
right?
did. Oh, yeah, that's true. I did. So my natural hair is very straight, and it is very hard for my hair to hold curl. And after the accident, I was very worried about damaging my hair even more with having to curl it all the time. And when I did curl it, like it wouldn't hold. It would just uncurl instantly. So it took me, this was like a science. I got my hair down to a science now. But so you talked about me leaving my hair just straight with the tape and extensions. So that's what we tried to do for a while. But it just started turning a little bit kind of like into like a sticky mop when I would sweat. And so curling it kind of lifted it a bit more out of my neck and my face. So then I figured out how to curl it and have it hold.
You use a Dyson?
No, I did regular curls, but I would pin them and leave them pinned for like 2 hours before I unpin them.
Yeah.
So my game day prep was hours long.
Hours long, yeah, to get your hair done, yeah. But yeah, I didn't go to makeovers. They said they love my hair, and I was good to go.
I do love your hair.
I will say, I feel like every season they do that drastic change with somebody, but they have such an eye for seeing what's going to bring someone out. Like,
it's true. Amanda. I can't even picture her blonde now.
I literally told her she needed to get remarried with the brown hair.
Oh.
She have to get remarried.
I think they should do like a vow. Their 10-year anniversary is coming up like in a few years.
Yeah,
I think they should do like a vow renewal because that brown hair.
It brings her out so much.
I mean, I think she should have been born like that.
Brown hair, it's crazy. They really have an eye. Like Kally and Judy really can tell how to bring that beauty out of someone. So go them. It's a special skill.
I agree. Her hair, this training camp, I think they deepened it slightly more. And I feel like it really made her features pop with like a deeper brown. I love it now. Like that's just saw some of her pictures come out from training camp. Love the brown. I dyed my hair dark brown once in college. I looked like a whole different person. Actually, Preston said that I look like an Eastern European spy.
That's funny.
And that was my passport photo with super dark hair. I mean, how many turns was that?
What is this clip?
It was a foggy day.
It's a foggy day with birds.
In Dallas. Foggy day in Dallas.
That was not Dallas. It had to be somewhere else.
Oh. There's no other way to do this.
No, they're drawing. Well, no, there's an app now that I really like.
Oh, really? I was about to say I looked up some apps and I still like to draw it with my hands.
Really? What's it called? I can't think of it, but you can even add in your music and at the time switch the formation and stuff.
And you can see the X's move. Where
You can see them move. Yeah, you can see their pathways and stuff. It's really cool.
I like that.
I can't think of the name of it right now, but yeah, there's an app that I really like for formations. How did you feel when you first learned Thunder?
How did it feel?
Yeah, like what was your like
Overwhelmed.
first initial? Since it's like so iconic, I love that it's like trending right now on TikTok too.
Yeah, that's actually kind of fun.
What was your like? What were your emotions, your vibes, your feelings?
I'm gonna answer that question in two parts. One, how I actually felt learning it, and one, how I actually felt performing it for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
One, I felt overwhelmed.
Turned out with it.
And a little scared because we learned Thunder on our very first day of training camp.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. The whole dance dumped. Boom. There you go. Come back tomorrow, do it perfect. That was so scary. And I still had my open wounds, and we dropped to our knees, and I remember specifically thinking to myself, like, they never go down to their knees for a while, you know? First day, boom, drop to the knees.
Drop to the knees.
I was bleeding through my bandages after that first practice, so learning Thunderstruck was a bit of a different experience.
Aww.
Performing Thunderstruck for the first time at a game, I cried. And it was the second game of our season that I got to perform it at. And I actually teared up.
Aww. We did learn all that the first night. And Jalen actually walked up to me. She was like, you kind of had that. You need to be confident in yourself. And I was like, oh, interesting perspective. Because I felt a hot mess. And then I went home to my alumni, and I told her that we learned it. She's like, and I love that my alumni was so real. She's like, it's kind of dumb to go into training camp and not know Thunder, Kally. Because you're going to have to do it. Everyone knows that's the thing. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like, why would I come into this training camp? It's on YouTube. It's literally everywhere.
You know, I actually didn't even think about that.
Like,
yeah.
Light bulb. Like,
that's true.
I was like, you're right. It was not smart to come in, and like Carly knew it. Genius. It's a genius
Carly
idea.
Knew it?
Yeah, Carly knew it.
Actually, a few people knew it. Amanda knew it. Kylie knew it. Carly knew it.
Yeah.
Who else?
We were doing ourselves a disservice.
Actually, they knew quite a bit of choreo when we came back because they were in a training camp.
Yeah.
The years
You know,
before.
I knew the popular parts, you know, but I feel like when someone throws it all at you, then everything just gets jumbled. So yeah, I certainly wish that I would have been smart and learned it ahead of time. And performing it the first time, like, wow. I think you probably feel the same. Like, a lot of my training was concert dance. And so when I thought of like iconic dances, I thought of like Alvin Ailey Revelations or like Martha Graham. Yeah, but you know, like different ballets and stuff. Like that's what I was thinking of when I thought of iconic dances.
Swan Lake.
Yeah, Swan Lake. God, I've done so many things and now I can't even think of any of them. When Reese said like it's one of the most iconic dances I can think of, I was like, you know what? This really does go up there with some of those dances that are like in history that are iconic. I do think especially, so. I don't think there's any other NFL cheer dance that would get even close to that category. So I will say Thunderstruck is truly like a work of art, and like all our formations and stuff and the cleanliness. And I will say even watching people do it on TikTok now, you can see how much skill it takes. Because some professional dancers are like doing this, and it's like
we've been watching some of these while we're together all the time at this point.
Yeah.
And it is shocking. Some of the dancers that I look up to in the industry, like
Lion King, the musical, they just did it, and like that is like was always my dream, kind of still is, is like to be a dancer on that Broadway musical and like seeing them do Thunder. I'm like, oh, it's a different skill.
I'm like, wow,
it's a different skill.
We look so different doing it, and the dancers that you look up to, like, wow, it makes you feel proud of how much work we put in to look the way that we look doing it. Because it's hard.
It is hard, yeah.
Seeing it feel like the work that we put in was
it's
so
worth
much
it. And not only that, but I think it shows the beauty in like diversity, you know, being able to switch it up. And I think this is another thing that we've added to our palette as dancers is being able to do this style of dance along with other things. So
look at all the hair flips.
I also think it's so good that there's 36 of us, like being such a big squad, especially on like a football field, it helps aid the power of Thunder. One person can ruin the photo and don't let that person be you. Remember our rookie year when they announced the team by pointing out all of our weaknesses in photos?
Yes, I do remember that.
It was like, you look bad here, you look bad here. I'd cut you out of this picture, but you made the team.
That was a way to do it.
It's a way to do it, man. Gonna knock you down a peg before you build you up.
Okay, crazy thing watching Kelsey kick.
Mm-hmm.
Kelsey has made herself bleed multiple times on kicks.
Mm-hmm. Kicks or jump flip?
Kicks. Her quad kicks hits the stars.
Yes.
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
And she has scratched herself so bad, her leg started bleeding because it got caught on a star. And a rhinestones cut her.
Yeah, my tights would
Multiple
get
times.
picked, but I would never get cut. That's intense.
And she would be like, we would be walking off of Thunder. And I'm in her group for past 2 years, and she would be like, oh my God, I'm bleeding again.
For me, it's passe. The boot, like,
is it the
coming down, because you want to keep the toe connected, and you're putting your foot in the boot, and then you're like trying not to fall over.
I've done that too.
Yep, that's what gets me. Leah has the best kicks on the team.
Leah has great kicks.
The best kicks.
That was so soft.
The jump split isn't bad until Thunder game day because everyone's tired. We haven't done it in the boots and it's heavy. But like in sneakers, I'm like, we could do this all day, man.
I agree. Yeah.
That was really bad.
Ooh, all the
these clips of these old school.
Yeah, jump splits are fine
that was good
when you're doing them on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're doing them at practice, not when you just did a 6-hour pre-game day.
All the things.
Day.
A lot of other oh God, there's me struggling. Oh, there's me.
Oh, there's
you. What was I gonna say? A lot of other teams do not do that full game day rehearsal.
No,
I think I don't want to say we're the only, but we're one of few who do a full game day rehearsal before the actual game. Insane.
That does sometimes make me so tired.
Oh, before the game, for sure. Especially because it's like, oh, that's our rookie year clip. Because I'm back there in the back. I was always in the back. Oh. My goal was to finish 5 seasons.
Okay. Speaking as a person who has a labrum tear on my hip, and then doing a full season on the tear, it is horrible. I am very, very happy that the tear is on my right side and not my left, though. Because
explain.
The worst part about the tear is when the leg goes back. And so since it's right, I jump split with the right forward and I land.
That's painful. I'm imagining it on this side. Yeah.
Yes. And the person who had it on their left was Marissa.
Stop. I'm getting like queasy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she had it on her left. And I don't know how I would have lasted with it being on my left. The right at least saved me. But with the year of DCC on a torn hip, multiple steroid injections, I got multiple PRP injections. I had PT every week and still go to physical therapy because I don't want to get surgery unless I absolutely have to, but it was so tight. I was almost in tears when she was rolling it out.
Just like the doctor asked Caroline, was it worth it?
That's a hard question to answer.
It's a hard question.
I think it was worth it because it was already torn and I still want to continue to dance like I'm dancing now. But do I think, is it worth to do jump splits and other things we do off season that cause hip tears? I don't know. I don't know if they are.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a jump split technically is what really causes the tear, but I think it causes it over time.
It's a lack of preparation, lack of training, lack of what's the word I'm looking for?
like routine,
yes.
healthy and safe routine to make jump splits not cause
and
injuries.
like constantly strengthening these muscles.
Yes.
We don't do a lot of those things. So I don't think it's jump split itself. I think
No.
it's the lack of time, and that then goes again into this being a part-time job. You know, we all have other things to do outside of this, so we can't just fully commit to doing just this and training just for this.
I mean, this is like an athletic.
I mean, think about it. High school drill teams are doing jump split. But in high school drill teams,
jump splits all the time.
And you were fine because you were kicking a lot in your high school dream team practice. And then you went to your studio at night. You were always training. You were conditioning. This is the word.
No, we just talked about it. Conditioning.
You're always conditioning, so your body's like used to it and ready for it. And you didn't have any issues, you know?
No, I didn't. I did jump splits literally every Friday. And I did jump splits on concrete, on marble, on
marble.
grass. Yeah,
marble
floor.
slab.
Yeah, marble slab. Done it. I did jump splits after having my bunion surgery. It wasn't that, but we did train all the time. Granted, I was younger.
So you're ready for
It's mixing all the things that causes all the injuries, and I feel horrible for Caroline. I've seen her multiple times in PT when she's there trying to rehab her surgeries, and she would tell me, oh yeah, now my other foot is dying, now I gotta get surgery on my other foot. That is really, really hard to see and hard to watch her go through, because I mean, that's your body. Those injuries will be with her for the rest of her life.
That is the thing that makes me hesitate, because I think as much as our passions are our desires and our like life goals and things, I think nothing ultimately tops like
your health.
You only
get one life.
Long term, like being able to run around with your kids, being able to, there's nothing that tops that. So I think there has to be a good even give and take, like, yes, I'm willing to sacrifice for my craft, but to a certain extent, I have to respect the body and the life I was given.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And I will say that out of professional dancing, like DCC is the only thing that really does jump split. The Rockettes and their like doll number, they do it, but it's not like a full split. No offense, but it's not always like a full split. It's like a little jumping down. And then in
Ringerettes.
Well, professional.
Oh.
Moulin Rouge, they do jump split. And Can.
But that's not. I wouldn't call that a jump split.
Really?
I would call that a hop and a slide.
But that's what I feel like Rockettes do, a hop and a slide.
Yeah, that's not.
We're like.
Split. I'm telling you, there's a video I saw. It's me jumping. I'm sure other people. I'm like this, and then I hit the ground with my crotch. Like,
wait, I want to put a picture, because in Oxnard we did it on concrete, and mine was really good. I was in a split.
It was really good.
Full split. It was a full split.
I didn't see it.
And it was on concrete. Yes, but like a lot of jobs are not doing jump split, and this is also hard on your spine, and that's where I had issues. But we can move on from that.
Yeah. There's Jess. I love
Lifesaver.
her so much.
Jess, Val, Kendall, amazing. Shout out DCC PTs.
Yeah, love them.
You remember that one time she made us go like head to the mirror, and then you see I literally almost had a panic attack.
I have a photo.
I didn't know how to get out of it. I was like, how do I get out of this stretch? I'm literally stuck here. I forgot who was beside me. I was like, get me out of here.
It looked ridiculous. Literally ridiculous. I took a photo though, because this is when I literally tore my hip, so I was sitting out of the Technique Tuesday and I was watching them. Y'all look so funny.
I did not know how to get out of that. I've never done that stretch before in my life. I was having a panic attack.
You were like upside down.
How do I get out of here? There's a lot on social media about the way that we were saying fueling ourselves. And I am not personally a fan of beating around the bush. Like, say, are you eating enough? Because why are we saying, are you fuel? Like, let's be honest. Are you eating? Are you full? Have you eaten any bread to sustain the activity we are doing?
The thing is, I don't think it's a fueling issue. I think a lot of us, it's not that we're not eating. I think it's that we're tired. We're not sleeping. We're running around. All that is exhaustion on your body.
But that's what
Food cannot. What's the word?
But that's what I'm saying. us using these terms is also getting around the actual issue, you know?
Yeah,
I feel like, why don't we actually say what the problem is and discuss it? Stop saying these beating around the bush, fueling, tired, sick, and say, yes, we have not eaten much because I've just come from my 9 to 5. And do I eat before or after this practice? Yes, I'm tired because I worked all day and now I'm at this practice running this dance 15 times. Yes, all the other list of things that we can go on with. You know, I think just acknowledge that more. And then once you acknowledge it, we can now fix these things.
I agree.
But constantly beating around the bush,
I agree.
we're never really hitting the nail on the head.
I agree. Whenever you're doing something every single day for a very long time, it affects you long term.
Yeah.
Like if I get sleep for one night a whole week, normal sleep, that's not going to reset me for the whole week. Didn't get full day of sleep there. Didn't get a full day of sleep on Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday. Sometimes you get Friday off.
Mm-hmm.
But those 4 days, like one day by itself, maybe that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But 4 days in a row, it adds up.
It takes a toll.
And then Friday, I'm dead.
Yeah.
I have no energy. And then we have Saturday and then game day.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then repeat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the fact that there is very little downtime to help with recovery.
I remember in training camp, it was towards the end of our we were training camp for 2.5 months almost.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was 2 months in. I was told, you look tight today. Your kicks are lower than usual. Why, yes. I've been here for 2 months doing this every single night.
I would like some sleepy sleep.
The muscles are tight. They are tight and tired. So yes, as an adult who is 23 years old at the time, my muscles are tight. They are very tight.
I will say this too. One trainer in our locker room, bless Kendall's heart, because that woman is spread also so thin between all 36 of us show up and we're like, everything's broken. Help me, fix me. She can't do that in 15 minutes before practice starts. Kendall does so much, but she doesn't have enough time being by herself to attend to everyone. And there's one of her for 36 of us in 45 minutes. You're not going to get anything out of it. I honestly stopped going to her second year because of how overwhelmed I knew she was, unless I really needed something. I only came to her for her to wrap my rolled ankle.
I always thought about what was wrong. For me, I had extremely bad sciatica, but I'm like, oh, but that girl has a hip labrum thing going on, so I don't need the slide, they need it, and it shouldn't necessarily be that way.
But if you leave that thing alone for a while and you don't actually get tended to for recovery, that's what's so important. Let's just talk about professional sports. Every single professional athlete has recovery days and days where they get massages, get rolled out, get cryotherapy, I can't even list the number of things I think that the football players get, including, like we talked about in the last episode, training days. We don't have that time. We go from one high-intensity practice to the next high-intensity practice to the next and next, and there's no downtime for recovery. And I think when you look overall at health science, and that's something that Jess, physical therapist, was talking to us about, and Kendall, we have to have and prioritize time for recovery.
Yeah.
We just have to.
Yeah, agreed completely. I thought it was so fun to have Emmett come in, and Skylar was there. They're so cute.
I really like his answer here.
I also love when he's at appearances. It just makes it so fun.
But a lot of people actually talked about that online, saying the judges that are judging finals, they're not all dancers. How do they know what good dancing looks like? They're mostly looking at performance. I feel like unless you have dance knowledge or dance background, it's hard for you to know what's technically correct.
That's true, yeah.
And
you don't know.
That's why I really love his answer, because he's like, that's not my world.
Yeah.
I don't know what's good. I could tell you who is performing, but I don't know if it's good dancing. You know what I mean? Which I appreciate him saying that.
Good question, Kally.
Good job, Kally. Thinking on your feet. This is when we learned jumping.
Yeah,
It's
I
Jenna's
love
here.
that dance. It's one of my favorites.
I do actually like
It's
that
just
one
so
too.
high energy.
But
And
that's
sometimes we
like-
go out there and we're like, you know,
Yes,
it
but
doesn't fit the vibe.
I do actually really like that the different quarters are different styles.
I do like that. But I'm saying I wish we had more of like
They're
jumping,
really
like hype ones.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we'll do a whole game with like all jazz, and I feel like as an audience member, you don't connect with that. But like everybody has been to the club. Everyone is like
But they usually
been
try to
this
mix them. Well, third
vibe.
quarter is always
Country.
Yeah. And then I think we start out with a hype one, and the second one's usually like jazz, and then we finish with a hype one. They did just do Thunderstruck 3 times in a row, right? Is that what didn't we just do that?
Yeah, and you look fatigued. I am fatigued. I think that's something that our class kind of brought, and I don't know. Opinions may vary, but I feel like our team spoke up. Like they'd be like, "You look tired." We'd be like,
I am
"Because I am." Smile on face. Because I feel like like me, you, Amanda, like they'd be like, I got like I remember one particular instance. They're like, "Do you keep messing this up?" I'm like, "No, I'm traveling about 20 yards and 1.5 8 count. I genuinely can't. I'm getting there at this time. I'm not messing it up. I'm doing my best."
I'm doing my best.
And they laughed at me, and I was like, "It's the truth." Because I feel like a lot of like a lot of
Sorry,
like
buddy.
a lot of the dynamic is like, let me tell you
Just
this
say,
thing.
"Yes, ma'am."
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And I feel like our class was like,
Well, hold on. It depends. Like if they're like you're doing this arm a different direction.
but that's what I'm
yes,
saying.
yes,
but
ma'am,
like
100%. Like,
the example
call me
that
out.
was giving was like, we just did Thunder 3 times. You look tired. I am. But yes, if I think we respect ourselves enough to know when, yes, acknowledge I've totally messed that up.
Yes.
Let me do it again and get it in my body. And also,
Yes, I'm tired.
let's look at the circumstances here.
That's really funny.
Cuts always make me feel so bad, especially because they're giving feedback and you're trying to redeem yourself, and sometimes it doesn't work out. I do really like the term "you're being released." I think that's very gentle.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
Versus like, we don't want you. Get out.
I think "you're being
No, I
released"
think
is a
that
great
was
way
said
to say
very
that.
well. Yeah, that was said very well. This was a very hard cut for me, seeing Anisha go.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think two particular people that I can think of that I was like, they would have been such great teammates, and I'm very sad that we didn't have the opportunity to be on the team with them. Anisha and Kayla Garcia.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I wish we would have been on the team with them. As an individual, she brings a lot of value to this team.
100%.
Yeah.
So much value.
And I think going back to that question about being older, that is a prime example, Sometimes straight out of college, you don't have
As much life
experience, you're not as eloquent in your wording, your speaking, which is a large part of being a DCC, This is your first job, so it's really your DCC would be your first job. So you haven't had that work experience and things, so.
I also think it's very valuable to teach the younger girls about self-worth.
That's what I'm saying. It's helpful to have like
and
someone.
who they are.
Yeah, it's helpful to have like that range on the team. Because I remember when I first joined Dolphins, I was one of the youngest. 20. I think I turned 19 on the team. 19. Yeah. But most of my teammates were 30, and I looked up to them and I thought, wow, like these amazing women, or like nearing like
and it's
27
like
to 30.
Life things too, like when you reached out for help with a resume, like I can try to help my best with that because I have more work experience just because of more years, and other life things. It just comes from a different perspective when you're a little bit older, and that's the part that I loved contributing to the team. And our rookies or younger girls on this team is just a little bit of that extra years.
It just adds to the sisterhood. So I certainly think a more mature individuals are necessary.
I agree. I do want to give credit to Kelly though. She's always the one that has to say it. That takes an emotional toll on you.
That's
being
difficult.
The person that has to step up and say it.
Yeah. You're ruining people's dreams, essentially.
You are like
Yeah.
you're being quote like the bad guy, you know.
Yeah, the villain in someone's
the villain
story.
in someone's story by telling them they're cut and they need to go home. And
So, like, to be in this position, I think she handles this so
I
gracefully.
do too. I think the way that she phrases it and how she brings up the conversation.
This was a hard night. We were there to, like, what, 12 or 1?
This is the day I crashed my car.
You ran into the pole in the parking garage, didn't you?
I did.
It was after, right?
We were here until almost 2 a.m.
Really? It was that late?
It was like 1 something.
Wow. I remember it being pretty late.
It was definitely
because there was 4 of them cut that one night.
And we waited for quite a while. I got into my car. I had really long nights, a few nights before, and I tried to back out of my parking spot, and I ran into the garage pole. It's horrible being in that position.
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, and like, all you can do is encourage as best as possible. And, you know, if you know them really well, you may have a little bit more to say, but
yeah,
it does really suck. I also think it sucks because I have been cut for many a dance gig, but I feel like you get so close to the girls here that it makes it harder. Obviously, you want to dance for this team, but you're like, I want to be a part of these girls. Like, it's like a little sorority in a sense. He's like, I don't like that word. You know, but like, you want to be a part.
Well, it's the camaraderie.
That's what I'm saying.
For me,
yeah.
it's the community. Like, you're building a family.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree. It's really hard to see the girls go, and it's hard to see them emotionally go through this experience. Hard to see your friends go through this experience for the second year. Like, we're returning vets, and a vet is struggling, and they're getting some kind of feedback. Like, it's hard to really see your friends emotionally decline and go through that battle, because there's nothing really you as a friend can do to help them except just be there, because they have to choose themselves to be okay with a certain situation, or not let it bother them, and you truly cannot do anything in the situation. Yeah.
Letting someone in is difficult, a little bit more difficult, you know, but we're used to emoting and allowing a whole audience of people in.
Yeah.
So it's even easier with someone, with your teammates.
Exactly. So yeah, these moments were always so hard, and I think we all go home from these cuts with such a heavy heart. Even if we didn't really know that person very well, we still go home with this emotional weight, because it's hard to see them go through it.
Yeah, it is, genuinely. Yeah, I agree. I also think, on a more positive note, like it makes you grateful. Like all these things we just said, it makes you realize like why you do this ultimately, and
grateful for the opportunity, grateful for the time being there with your friends and getting to do what you do here, getting to do what you love. You know, like it does make you appreciate for another day there.
Yeah, agreed. Well, this episode kind of ended sadly.
I know, this one was a sad one. I don't know how to like end it happy.
Oh man! Alrighty. Well,
hopefully the next one is a bit more.
Hopefully the next one's a little more positive. We could be a little more happy.
But you know what? These girls are in training camp now.
Go them. Congrats.
Wish them all the luck.
Yeah.
On the team. So excited to see them back.
Right.
They
so
deserve
exciting.
It.
You totally deserve it. All right, friends, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow this page. Comment down below any questions you may have. We'll be sure to answer them. And thank you so much for watching.
Thank you. Bye. All right, that's another one.
That was a good one.
To episode 4. Cheers.